Black and brown communities are being disproportionately devastated by COVID-19.
Look at the hospital, they're putting bodies in the back of a freezer truck, y'all. Please stay inside.
This is a mass grave being dug for coronavirus victims at New York City's Potter's Field, where unclaimed bodies are laid to rest.
It's not a joke. I don't know what more or how much more I could express.
That's where the hiatus will start. You could see right here the reaction from Mark Cuban.
This is a different world that we're living in now.
The NBA has suspended the season after Rudy Gobert has tested positive for coronavirus.
The coronavirus pandemic continues to plague not just the United States, but the entire world. European countries?
Italy. It was the first country to lock down a year ago. Today, it's doing it again.
France and Germany? Weighing respective lockdowns because the vaccinations are just not coming fast enough. In the States, our government's failure to act cost immeasurable damage to the country's economy, our well-being, and the loss of loved ones, friends, and co-workers. The intentional incompetence should never be forgotten. In sports, tons of athletes had the coronavirus. These are their stories.
I spiked to 104.5 fever.
This is the Atlanta Braves' Freddie Freeman, and you heard him correctly. After a 104.5 fever, Freeman says, 10 minutes after that, I gunned my forehead again, and I was 103.8, then I was 103.2, 103.6. My body was really, really hot, so I said, please don't take me. I wasn't ready. It got a little worrisome that night for me. I was scared if I spiked even higher when I was sleeping, what would happen? I woke up at 7 a.m. the next morning, and I was 101.5, so I was like, phew, I can take the 101. Friday night was my worst night. WNBA hooper Asia Durr's COVID experience is troubling. A great day for Durr is being able to go to the store and clean the house. She hasn't been able to shoot a free throw, let alone train. Durr is deemed a COVID long hauler, a term for folks who have in theory recovered from the worst impacts of COVID-19 and have tested negative. However, they still have symptoms. There seems to be no consistent reason for this to happen. As of January, she's lost 32 pounds, roughly 21% of the 5'10" guard's listed body weight. Demi Washington, a sophomore at Vandy, battled COVID. However, as she told The Athletic, the SEC mandates that every athlete who tests positive for COVID take an echogram and an echocardiogram and have blood work done before we are allowed to return to play. All my tests came back perfect, but Vandy also requires a cardiac MRI on top of that. He told me, the doctor, what they found on my MRI: acute myocarditis. He said that if I did anything to elevate my heart rate while it was like this, I could suffer a major cardiac event. It's horrifying to think that without that MRI, I would have gone back out there and played and something could have gone wrong. I could have passed out on the court. I could have died.
My doctor called me and said that I had a positive result for COVID-19.
Denver Broncos star Von Miller was another. Miller, who suffers from asthma, said, my lungs were constricting, my asthma nebulizer helped, but it still didn't feel like it was supposed to. That was the most frightening part. Just going to sleep knowing that my oxygen level could drop and I could wake up and have to go to the hospital. Like Asia Durr, Natalie Hakula, star track and field athlete, is the glaring example of how everyone must take this virus seriously. She is a COVID long hauler and suffers from shortness of breath, fatigue, and chest pain. She can't exercise, hasn't worked out in several weeks, and consumes a daily regimen of medication. She had a bout of pneumonia in late July and last month was hospitalized for 3 nights in the COVID-19 unit at Sacred Heart Medical Center at Riverbend and Springfield when her oxygen level was getting dangerously low. I can hold conversations better. I can walk a little bit further than before. The chest pain is still there, she said. I still get headaches.
There was times where I felt like I was going to die.
Gabriel Aguilar, a 28-year-old Connecticut soccer coach, is one of them. He caught a mild case of COVID in March. By June, he says far worse symptoms hit, making it tough to even get out of bed.
One of the greats to ever play his position, wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, said he rewrote his will during his bout with COVID, where he lost 9 pounds. Olympic athlete Sang Yi Ting spent 29 days in a hospital battling COVID. She battled a range of symptoms, the worst, a searing pain that engulfed the lower half of the body. Walking was a struggle. Lying down offered no relief as she fought a virus that doctors were still learning about. All sorts of thoughts about her body and about her future spiraled through her mind, she said. The fact is, we're not out of the woods. It's time to buckle down now more than ever. If you'd like to hear more thought-provoking content like TYT Sports on Facebook and to help in my journey to keep media independent, go to tyt.com/Rick.